Okay. So we're doing some heat questions from section B of the syllabus. So starting out with that is the gas law. According to pressure law, so in pressure law says for a fixed mass of gas, pressure is directly proportional. That's fine. Pressure is directly proportional to temperature. So volume is constant. So fixed mass of gas are constant volume. So the answer is B. When gas is heated in a closed container at a constant volume, the volume is constant, then we're dealing with pressure law. The pressure of the gas rises when it is heated, the temperature increases. Which of the following statement concerning this fact is or are true? Pressure rises because the gases strike the walls of the container with greater momentum. That's true. Pressure rises because the gas molecules now collides with the wall of the container more frequently. Pressure rises because the force between the gas molecules are larger at high temperature. Not between them. So the answer is 1 and 2. According to the kinetic theory, when a gas in a closed container is heated, the pressure rises. Same question. What's the answer? Huh? The molecules move faster and hit the walls of the container with greater force with a greater frequency. Which of the following is correct? So we're talking about the conversion of temperature from Kelvin to degrees Celsius. So Kelvin, temperature in degrees Celsius, plus 273. So this is the correct answer. A light bulb is filled with a gas at a temperature of 293 Kelvin. If the initial pressure of the gas is P, what would be the pressure if the temperature increases to that? So P is the initial pressure. T is the initial temperature. We want to find this unknown. All we're going to do is carry up this. So the answer is A. So P multiplied by 360 divided by 290. Clear?
Yes, please.
A flask filled under pressure. Some of the air is let out over a period of 10 seconds. When the flask is closed, so you're releasing some of the air.
Yes, B.
Dog. So you're taking out some of the air so you have less molecules striking the walls of the container. Gas occupies a volume of 2 meters squared cube at 27 degrees Celsius at a pressure of 1 atmosphere. At a pressure of 2 atmosphere, it occupies a volume of 1 meter. What is the temperature of this new volume and pressure? That would be which law? combined gas laws. So volume so the volume is 2 multiplied by pressure 1. Temperature will be same. I would need to convert it to Kelvin. So the temperature is going to be the same because over here, so the answer is going to be 1 multiplied by 2. So the temperature has to be the same for it to be a constant. So it's B. Fixed mass of gas at constant temperature is reduced in volume. So if temperature is constant, we're dealing with Boyle's law. So if volume is reduced, pressure is going to increase. So which of the following is not true? We know that this is true. See. The bombardment of a molecule of gas on the walls of the containing vessel is determined its pressure. Thanks. Thank you very much. When heating a substance, a point is reached where no further change in temperature is observed. The most likely reason for this is that we have a change in state. So once we have no change in temperature and you're supplying heat, that means you have a change in state. Which of the following scientists was responsible for arriving at the conclusion that measured amount of electrical and mechanical energy can be converted to proportionate amounts of heat energy? Who that? Joules. Which of the following temperature range is most suitable for a clinical thermometer? Measures body temperature. So it's C. So the following statements about evaporation is false. Evaporation requires heat energy and causes cooling. Cooling, is that correct?
Yes, miss.
No, that's true.
Yeah, miss,
Jesus.
that's what I mean. It's a true statement.
Oh, so the first one is during evaporation, the faster molecules escape the liquid. That's true. Evaporation occurs at room temperature only. That's not true. It occurs at any temperature. And occurs only at the surface is true. The heat capacity of a substance is defined as the amount of heat energy C is equal to EH over delta T. What's the answer? Dark. So C is equal to EH over delta T. Which of the following process is most likely accounts for the fact that pot handles are usually made of wood or plastic?
B.
The heat from nearby fire reaches places mainly by
This conduction.
measure radiation. Conduction needs particle. Convection needs fluid. Specific latent heat of vaporization of water is 2.26 times 10 to the 6 joules per kilogram, when 0.1 is converted to steam. So when you are boiling, you're absorbing energy. So divide this by 0.1. So the answer would be A. Which of the following method is most suitable for heating a brass pop in order to determine its specific heat capacity by method of mixture?
C.
According to the kinetic theory, when a gas in a closed container is heated, its pressure rises because we answer this whole time. This first question we did, what's the answer? The molten naphthalene mean naphthalene is in liquid state. 100 degrees is allowed to cool down to room temperature. If naphthalene has a melting point of 80, then we have a phase change. A phase change is defined by a flat line at the temperature at which it changes state. So the answer is going to be C. That's where the horizontal line is. In which of the following is conduction the main method of energy transfer?
Miss D.
Oops. What's the answer? We did this one already. What's the answer for this one? So the following are reasons a liquid placed in a double wall vacuum flask retains its heat for a long time.
B.
1 and 3. So the answer is boy. A person coming out of sea feels cool because seawater evaporates from the skin. Once you have evaporating, you'll have cooling. We answered that already. Specific heat capacity of a substance is defined as the amount of thermal energy required to. So C is equal to, common C is equal to EH over MC delta T, M delta T, sorry. So what's the answer? Raise the temperature of unit mass of a substance by 1 Kelvin. This experiment proved that water is a
Poor conductor of heat.
energy required to change the state of a substance is determined to be EH. If the mass of the substance is doubled, the value of EH will
B.
change the state. EH is equal to L latent heat. So in terms of mass, EH divided by mass shows a direct proportionality. So if EH is doubled, mass will also be doubled. Clear? Clear?
Yes, please.
Metal M requires energy E to raise its temperature from T1 to T2. Specific heat capacity is equal to EH over M. Raise the temperature from T1 to T2. So delta T is always hotter temperature minus colder temperature. So the answer is dog. So remember we said that C is equal to M delta T. Delta T is hotter temperature minus colder temperature. So it's T2 minus T1. So the following material is both a good absorber and a good emitter of thermal heat.
What's a polish? A flat polish metal.
Absorber must be black. Right? Must be black. So if you're absorbing, it must be dark color. Polished surfaces are reflectors. We answered this already. What answer? I want to say, no, it's what in
Yes,
English.
A.
What's the answer? The following diagrams best illustrates convection current in a liquid. Wherever the liquid is, water will rise from there. So the water is not rising from there. So the answer is B. So we're seeing water rising from B, creating convection current. No convection current is at C and D. Two types of radiation, L and R, falls on a woman's left and right hand respectively. Her left hand feels hot, but does not become tan. Her right hand does not feel hot, but eventually becomes tan. Radiation, L and R are
Her left hand feels hot, but does not become tan.
so L and R is which one? So the one that feels hot is the one that tans is which one?
Ultraviolet.
When we are tongue, no infrared. The infrared cause tanning. Tanning. When we watch reality show, we answer. See for me. Learn your maths. Turn on the light. Turn on. Oh, ultraviolet is standing bed. So we get you wrong. So the answer is Deja was correct. Says student carries out an experiment to determine the specific heat capacity C of a solid using the electrical method, which is used which are the following equation should be used. So we know that energy is at the top, and energy would be IVT. So the answer is C. Power multiplied by time give us energy. Power is current times voltage. Kinetic energy of a body m of velocity is given by half mv squared. Which of the following is the poorest conductor of thermal energy? Air. Metals are good conductors of heat energy. Electrical kettle full of water is plugged into the main. The main process by which heat travels through the water is
B.
what? Through the water. Through a fluid. As the temperature of gas rises, what's happening?
B.
Density decreases. The answer is B. Liquid X and Y are taken from bottles at room temperature and dabbed on the back of your hand. X feel cooler than Y. Most likely reason is that X have a higher specific heat capacity than Y. X evaporates more quickly. C. So it's like alcohol and water. If you put alcohol on your hand, alcohol is going to evaporate faster than the water. So the following would explain why an ordinary 0 to 110 degrees Celsius thermometer is not used to measure human body temperature. So it's not sensitive enough to measure small change. That's true. The reading would change when the thermometer is taken from the patient's mouth. That's true because there's no narrow constricting bore. It doesn't have a large enough range. So the answer is 1 and 2. B. Clear?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Which of the following statements about radiation is not true? B. Shiny surfaces are better reflectors, not emitters, reflectors. Unit for specific latent of fusion. So L is equal to E over M. E is joules, M is mass. So the answer is B. Which of the following would cause the hot air balloon from the fire to rise? The hot airs are above the fire to rise. Would it be R3 or 1 and 2? If we increase the speed, the volume is going to increase. All of them. Get all of them. Is it all of them? Once temperature increases, volume is going to increase. The volume increases, density is going to get less. Once we have hot, once here is hot, it's going to expand and become less dense. And there's a decrease in the density of the air. I'm thinking all three. What says you? Hello? Wanna go on the bed? I'm tired too, you know. We're here or we're not here. You alone there?
Here, Miss. I think I would agree with you.
Talia, oh, you're so quiet. Sasha, oh, you're so quiet.
It's just tired, miss.
Tired. You do IT today?
Yes, miss.
Oh, I'm sorry. What's that paper?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
Are there a lot of repeat?
Yeah, miss, a good amount. A good amount
How
of
was the math?
Miss, I don't know. It's like there was some repeats, but then the questions that weren't repeats were so strange. Like, miss, there was a lot of physics as well. Like they asked about Hooke's law, and then they also asked about resultant force.
Again, mix up the exam name. What's the answer for whichever one in a correspondence arrange themselves in a regular repeated fashion? Crystallization. Hello? Nah. Huh? Yes, but I'm in class and I'm not seeing Andre. Oh, well, I'm recording, so I send him the recording. No problem. Which of the following is true of evaporation? We do this already. It occurs at the surface and no definite temperature. What's the answer for the glasshouse effect refers to the glasshouse acting as a heat trap. This is a direct result of BCD. Heat capacity, specific heat capacity of a material is energy required to change the temperature of 1 kg of the material by 1 kilo. What is an uninsulated closed container with water is heated from room temperature 35 until the water has evaporated. Which of the following graph most accurately represent the variation of water with temperature with time? So there's a phase change. It's a heat curve. So the only heat curve, the only curve I'm seeing here with the horizontal would be C. Clear? What's the answer? Which of the following would be responsible for heating the earth by the sun? Radiation. Radiation is best absorbed by surfaces which are black and dull. An electric kettle full with water is plugged into the mains. The process by which heat travels through the water is, we do that already, convection. And we do that. So those are some heat questions. We'll take a break and then we'll answer the wave questions. So again,